We're getting great reports from the doctors. This is an incredible hospital, Walter Reed. The work they do is just absolutely amazing, and I want to thank them all, the nurses, the doctors, everybody here. I've also gotten to meet some of the soldiers and the first responders, and what a group. I also think we're going to pay a little surprise to some of the great patriots that we have out on the street, and they've been out there for a long time, and they've got Trump flags, and they love our country, so I'm not telling anybody but you, but I'm about to make a little surprise visit. So perhaps I'll get there before you get to see me. But I just, when I look at the enthusiasm, and we have enthusiasm like probably nobody's ever had. Our people that love the job we're doing, we have more enthusiasm than maybe anybody. So it's been a very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it, and it's a very interesting thing, and I'm going to be letting you know about it. In the meantime, we love the USA, and we love what's happening. Thank you.
God bless our president. I will die for him. I will die for that man, happily. I will die for him. Anybody want to mess with him, you mess with me first. He is a hero, that man. Look at it. Got his Gatling guns in here, missile launchers. God bless America. God bless you guys. God bless. God bless the police. God bless you guys. God bless. Thank you for your service. Thank you. That was great. He passed right by you, folks. He passed right there. He was there.
Welcome back to Left Anchor. I'm Alexi the Greek.
And I'm Ryan Cooper. We're here doing another news episode. After, let me just give you a little rundown here of our last, podcast universe. We would have
surprise October surprise.
Yeah, hooray! We would have had an episode out a couple of days ago. We recorded, I believe it was Thursday night. And we were all set to talk about the debate and Amy Coney Barrett and various other things. But then Trump got COVID. And so, all that was pushed to the back burner, and we figured, hell, why not just record another episode? And, we could make it a sort of double header. Because none of the stuff we talked about is necessarily irrelevant or outdated exactly. It's still all, happening. But now all anybody wants to talk about is the Trump's got the Rona, he's got the Corona, he's got the COVID,
or as the Chinese president has now called it, the White House virus.
That yes,
isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
touche.
Yes, touche. All credit to President Xi. That doesn't excuse being a merciless dictator, but we will hand it to you on that one. So yeah, maybe just a quick update for what is happening at the moment. It appears, from what we can tell, at this date, recording on the 4th in the evening, the Saturday event from a week ago, that was the confirmation, like reception or something of nominating Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, was a super spreader event. So far, there are like 10, 12 people who have tested positive. Among them, President Trump, Melania Trump, Senator Mike Lee, Senator Thom Tillis, Hope Hicks, the president's whatever the fuck advisor, RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, the president of Notre Dame, Friar John Jenkins, Trump campaign manager Bill Stepien, Senator Ron Johnson, Kellyanne Conway, and finally Chris Christie. And then at least 3 reporters who work at and cover the White House We don't know who they are, but CNN reported this. So this is like, I think like double the number of cases that DC has had on an average day for the just in the White House, So it was a huge, a classic super spreader event. And I would guess before all is said and done, we will get another probably half a dozen or a dozen more positive tests, because something important to note here, and something I think the president's entourage failed to understand. There's a good piece by Ed Yong in the Atlantic talking about the fact that Biden got a negative test, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have it for sure, because these tests have there's a false negative percentage. Sometimes they don't catch it. And so there are a number of people, I think Vice President Pence tested negative, and a number, another like dozen or so attendees that we know about have tested negative, but they still could have it. Either the test was administered wrong, or it just wasn't there in enough concentration, or it just hadn't progressed enough. So there's still some.
Right, yeah, I think a big part of the false negatives for cases like these are the fact that they're much more likely to be a false negative early on in the development of the progression, because the viral load, like the virus hasn't replicated a lot, and so that we don't have our tests aren't sensitive enough to catch some of it like that early on. But the same person who tests negative early on, like a week later, that same test will be positive, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's particularly the case with the tests that they were apparently using at the White House event, which is like a fast saliva test, and it basically gives you results within almost instantaneously, within just a few minutes.
You see, Ryan, this is what all the rich, like powerful people do all the time, so they can socialize without any restrictions, while the rest of us, plebes have to do our normal lockdown, mask wearing kind of restricted lifestyles.
But that's the thing. The false negative rate of those tests is like 50%. It is not an accurate test, and it completely, what I think that the thinking was among all of these White House goons was that exactly what you're saying. What testing is for rich people to be able to have a party. That we take it, and if it says negative, that means there's 100% guaranteed that you don't have it. And like they didn't do the most elementary investigation of how this shit actually works. And so somebody was there.
Right? You don't understand. The coronavirus wouldn't dare to infect a rich, powerful person. It stays among the rabble. Okay, it wouldn't deign to invade the body of someone so important.
Yeah, exactly. And so over the past like little bit, we've all been trying to sort out what happened. When was the president? When did he test positive? And the doctor has been Dr. Conley. There's too many Coney, Conley, Christie. There's too many. They've got to change some names in here. So I'm going to call the doctor Jeff from now on. Jeff says that he said in the original press conference that the president were 72 hours into this diagnosis, which implied that he tested positive on Wednesday morning, right after the debate, and did not tell anybody, including the Biden, campaign. And he had been on a stage with Biden for an hour and a half, and including
literally hawking loogies at Biden's face on purpose. Literally just.
Yeah. And that, I think it goes to show you that there was a very funny little segment, which, what's his name? Jamie Harrison, right? Who is challenging Lindsey Graham for the Senate seat in South Carolina. And it looks to be neck and neck, which holy fuck, South Carolina. But they had a debate. And one of the, viral moments, for lack of a better word, in that debate was that Harrison brought his own little a plastic screen that he set up next to his
plexiglass
podium, so that which was simultaneously a great troll and frankly a public health necessity.
Absolutely.
Nobody who comes into contact with any kind of elected Republican should be, in the same room, ideally.
No, we need to have more viral moments, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And so, since then, there's been just an incredible amount of dissembling about the president's condition. They're like, oh, he's fine. Oh, he's going to Walter Reed. And he's probably not on oxygen, or he hasn't been on oxygen recently. And we're giving him like powerful high dose steroids, and but everything's good. He's fine. And here's a video of him for like 10 seconds saying everything's good. I'm good. Everything's fine. And here's a picture of him signing a blank piece of paper so that, to do work.
It's actually hard it's going to be hard to unpack all that's gone on in this shit show. But don't forget the chief of staff immediately contradicting the doctor by saying that like the last 24 hours were the vital signs were like touch and go. And, the next however many days are really critical. But it seems pretty clear that like Jeff Conley or whatever his name is kind of taking orders from Trump or covering for Trump, or some people have theorized doesn't want to scare Trump into like knowing how serious it really is. And so there's all kinds of sneaky things that you would never expect from a doctor giving a report about the health of the president.
Yeah.
He basically will like pull a politician move by not answering a question, by answering it with like a different kind of answer. So, doctor, did the oxygen saturation levels ever fall below 90%? Well, they were never in the low 80s.
Yeah.
It's like this is his actual response, right? Has he ever been, below 94? And just time after time, he keeps like avoiding the questions that, if answered directly, could give a lot of like peace and relief and kind of, provide a sense that Trump isn't actually in dire straits. But because he avoids them, educated medical professionals seem to suggest, well, seems like they're hiding important information. Maybe something bad is happening, and the idea that he, says, well, Trump could be released from the hospital as early as tomorrow. That's also a cagey kind of thing that also makes no sense given the medications he's on, some of which take like 5 days to administer. What, are they going to just stop the treatment halfway and release him?
Yeah.
So it's really a kind of fishy situation.
Yeah, it's another instance of the thing where everyone who comes into contact with Trump and is around him turns into him. They take on his speech patterns, and in this case, his comically incompetent lying. That where it's like, wow, you're lying about something which is just like, by any stretch of the imagination, a vital public interest. Is the president dying? What is his condition? And you're lying, and not only are you lying, you are lying in a really obvious way. Like that just suggests not even a slight, sort of attention to detail in terms of the untruths that you are trying to, get us all to swallow. That's the end of the preview, folks. If you want to hear the whole episode, you can go to patreon.com/leftanchor. Thanks for listening.